Good evening, everyone. It's June 11th, 2025. I'd like to welcome all you to our Mableton City Council regular meeting. Thank you all for attending this evening. I know we just wrapped up a town hall where we talked about the SDS and Special Service District. That information will be posted as a uplink to our website whenever we get the opportunity to post haste. But we're going to move forward now into our regular city meeting. So with that being said, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor Owens.
Present.
Councilmember District 1, Lon Davis.
Present.
Councilmember District 2, Danny Oladapo.
Present.
Councilmember District 3 and Mayor Pro Tem Keisha Jeffcoat.
Present.
Councilmember District 4, Patricia Alk.
Present.
Councilmember District 5, TJ Ferguson.
Present.
And Councilmember District 6, Deborah Herndon.
Present.
Quorum present.
Thank you, ma'am. I do appreciate that. I would like to ask Councilman Davis to please give us an invocation, please.
Heavenly Father, Lord God, our Creator, we just thank you right now. Thank you for all that you've done for us. We thank you for all that you've done for us, all that you're doing, Father God. We pray for your guidance, and we thank you for your strength, your protection, Father God. We just pray right now as we continue to move this city forward, Father God, that you be with us. Keep us, Father. Just bless us. And Lord, we just give you all the honor, glory, and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Davis. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, I want to take a moment of personal privilege. We just wrapped up a town hall, which was goes into the depths of the challenges we face as a council and decisions that we have to make day in and day out, and how much of a struggle and challenge it can be. But I do want to acknowledge that through all the struggle that we do as a council and as staff, each and every one of us have private lives. And it sometimes those challenges face us and we continue to move forward as if they do not exist. But sometimes there are moments that happen that make us all stop and be thankful for what we have, be thankful for our loved ones and the work that we do, and realize that it's more than this great work we do as a city. And I want to take a brief moment to acknowledge our city manager. Many of you may not know it. He lost his beautiful wife, Miss Leanne Tanks, over this past weekend, and someone who was a delight to know. She was a champion of the city. The city manager, quick to call him not only the love of his life, but his best friend, someone who's also worked for the county, has lived in this county, and many of us heard her exuberance lots of times when talking about the city, and asking, urging our manager to get the heck out of here and get back home. This man is a stalwart when it comes to being a professional, but also someone who was a devoted, loving husband, who I know personally has juggled this personal challenge you've been dealing with for months on end, and being the consummate professional at every single turn. Mr. Manager, I just want to tell you, we grieve with you with your loss of your wife. We pay tribute to her. The meeting that we were supposed to have on Monday, we canceled this out of respect for you and out of tribute to her, and her love for the work that you were doing and her love for this city. And I would just ask at this point in time that we take a moment of silence to acknowledge your wife and the work that you continue to do and the work you've done in the face of dealing with an insurmountable challenge of having a loved one, a wife, going through the challenge that she's gone through, and you still being here for the city and for these 80,000 residents every single day, sir. Thank you. We respect you. We love you for this. We do grieve with you, and we'll be here to continue to support you, this council, and every single member of the staff. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could take a moment of silence, please. Mr. Manager, Leanne was loved by many. I've heard from members of her family over this past few days. And if you care to say anything, sir. If not, we'll move right on. Thumbs up is good enough. Thank you for that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can please stand for a pledge of allegiance. Councilman Ferguson, Navy veteran, if you can lead us to the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that, Council, and those of you in the audience today and those that are watching as well. We will move on. Council, you've been provided a copy of the agenda prior to the meeting. I don't have any known changes, nor have I been communicated to me. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as written.
I motion to approve the agenda as written.
I second. Thank you. Motion's been made and seconded by Councilwoman Herndon. All those in favor of approval of the agenda, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. No opposition, the ayes have it. Thank you, Council. We'll move right along to item 6, which is a public hearing. This evening, we will take another look at the presentation and review of the FY26 city budget. It will be presented by our Finance Director, Ms. Karen Ellis. What we're going to do is going to allow Ms. Ellis to go ahead and present the budget. At that point in time, we'll open up a public hearing after we go through and have the reading of the ordinance. And as typical, the clerk will lay out the outline of the hearing. But at this point in time, the floor is yours, Director Ellis.
Mayor and Council, good evening. This will be a brief presentation because there will be only one small change and edit to this presentation that you saw on previously at the end of May, but this is more for the benefit of the constituents and the audience. This is a summary of our budget calendar. You see we're almost at the end. We've got our final dash for the finish on June 25th, which will be our second public hearing and the adoption of the budget. As we, again, review our budget principles where we make sure we are conservatively calculating our revenues and expenditures and not relying on one-time revenue sources to fund the ongoing expenses of the city. This, again, is just a summary of all of our city council priorities, which were initiated at the February planning meeting. And now we'll go into the general fund operating budget. The assumptions in your operating budget remain the same. Nothing has changed. This is, again, listing of all the things that amount to the main expenditures and changes, or not changes, enhancements in your operation general budget. General fund revenues, again, did not change. Okay, this does not have, my presentation had TAVT next to property taxes. This one, it didn't show up, but I did submit it for presentations. It is represented that way in the final budget document that you will see on the website. Property taxes that are listed are not real estate property taxes. Those are the TAVT taxes, which are related to vehicles. That is a property, and as so is listed as far as audit and accounting as a property tax. So it is not the property tax as you think of related to Cobb County. General fund expenditures, also nothing has changed since our last presentation. And we're proposing a balanced budget. Revenues meaning expenditures using some of our fund balance from prior fiscal years, and also allowing for a 33% fund balance reserve of $4.6 million in our coffers. Class and pay position summary. These are the adjustments versus what was approved to staff versus what we're projecting to actually include in our budget for staffing. And now we'll go into our special revenue funds. Tree and beautification budget. This does not change since the last presentation. We are putting in $160 to seed this fund to become a tree city. Balancing our budget revenue $160. Expenditures will be brought forth to council as the projects arise and will be again brought to you to be approved. So nothing is approved at this time other than the expenditure for projects to be determined. This is the only new addition to our budget, which is where we're putting in the Six Flags Special Service District. This special district was approved on time and will need to be billed by the city this fiscal year. We retrieved information Cobb County shared with us as far as the revenues that we would bring in and the expenditures related to that fund. So this is, again, just for the Six Flags Special District, which is approximately 240 parcels in the Six Flags area. Hotel Motel, another special revenue fund, did not change since the last presentation. Brought in about 456 proposed for this year, but we're budgeting conservatively at 375. Capital Projects Fund, this also remained the same, putting away $750,000 for future land acquisition and projects throughout the city, and other capital equipment expenditures for capital, for IT and for fleet without the city. Summary of all of our funds. The general fund is approximately $16 million, establishing a new tree fund of $160, carrying forward the Cobb County Six Flags Special District, that is now our district, at $1.25 million, Hotel Motel at $375, and capital projects at $1.4, which brings a total of $19.211 million to the city. If you have any questions on that, we'll go into the public hearing.
Thank you for that, Director Ellis. Council, do you have any questions?
The one question I guess I had was, when we look at the funds, why didn't we include the,
Six Flags.
no, Mableton? MDA?
This is an income of funds. We don't have a revenue stream tied to Development Authority.
Yeah, that's not in here.
But what we're putting out for that?
Yes, from an expenditure side, we do.
Yeah, from an expenditure side, that's,
Oh, yes, that is a transfer to them for the, for debt service. Oh, that's the URA, excuse
No,
me.
that's
The
URA.
Development Authority is the money that we put aside for the right-of-way. It's the money that we had to give to them through Cobb County. That's, I think, what you're they're referring to. Is that what you're referring to?
Is
The
not
$150,000?
I just don't see it, I just didn't see it represented.
It's in the
operating.
community, it's not in here because it's in the summary in the community development budget.
Okay.
But if you look at the larger document, it's in the community development, development budget as $150,000 that goes to the Development Authority for those purposes.
Okay,
Yes, it is in the budget.
okay.
A lot of development authorities keeping track of.
Because I saw the debt service for URA in here, but I didn't see them listed.
Yes,
Okay,
and that's a transfer out because, again, it's not a budget that we do, so it's a transfer to them to pay for it.
So my question was along the beautification, and at $150,000, but also there was a discussion about enhanced services for our public right-of-ways and beautification. Where was that at?
That is in the general fund budget. So that would be in our facilities department. That was presented, the bigger,
Yes.
longer presentation I did. That is within the facilities department, and that is, I believe it was $250,000 that we were setting aside
Yes.
by district, 25,000 per district for the rights of way for facilities to handle and monitor.
And I brought that up because, too, we may have a chance to get some economies of scale if we're going to have maintenance that the MDA has to do, and there's public right-of-way maintenance that we're going to do, or enhanced maintenance.
Yes,
I don't
that's part
know
of
how
the
we work
Six
that on the
Flags.
operational side, but there's a possibility that's like work that's being done.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's an opportunity to gain some savings by collaborating with some of that, I would like to, let's explore
Yes,
that.
Stephanie Cox with the chamber, she's the one in charge of the procurement for the right-of-way under the Six Flags, which is part of what those taxes raised are being used for. And she has been gracious enough to be able to forward on some of that information to see who the vendor is. It'll be a bill that we will have to pay through the special district, and maybe, again, like you said, a shared vendor. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Counselor, any other questions of Ms. Ellis? Thank you, Ms. Ellis.
You're welcome.
Hearing no other questions, what we'll go ahead and do at this point is, we do have the first read of the ordinance that we're going to bring forward. We've gone through all the numbers, all the slides. With that being said, I will go ahead and open the public hearing.
I have a little thing to read if you'd like.
Can you go ahead and give us an intro into it?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
please go ahead.
Mayor and City Council, the proposed fiscal year 26 budget is submitted to the Mableton City Council in compliance with state law O.C.G.A. 36-81-2. This budget was developed based on the priorities adopted by City Council in February 25, including fiscal soundness, community engagement, green initiatives, housing initiatives, managed growth, technology, innovation, and responsible development. The fiscal year 26 budget maintains adequate reserves and fund balance to ensure sound fiscal integrity of the City of Mableton. The fiscal year 26 budget includes resources that will allow the city to provide a high level of general government services to the citizens of Mableton. This proposed budget also provides capital funding to establish the city's growing infrastructure needs. Public hearings are scheduled to gain citizen input and enable all members of the City Council to better understand the needs of the entire community prior to budget adoption. The final budget is scheduled to be adopted by the City Council on June 25th, 2025. The proposed budgets for all operating, special revenue, and capital funds total $19,211,093. The city's general fund provides for general government operations of the city and maintains adequate working capital necessary for the city's financial health and stability. This fund accounts for most of Mableton's operations and has a budget of $16,026,093. The remaining funds include the Tree Fund, Hotel Motel Tax Fund, Six Flags Special District Fund, and the Capital Projects Fund. Capital Project Fund adopts project budgets where the adopted appropriations do not lapse at the end of the fiscal year and remain in effect until project completion or reappropriation by City Council. The fiscal year 26 general fund budget provides for $9,148,000 in personnel and related benefits, $4,404,900 for operations and equipment, $1.96 million for capital improvements, and $513 towards related debt service. All eligible city employees may receive a 2.5% cost of living salary increase. The budget is a dynamic rather than a static plan, which allows for adjustments and amendments as circumstances change. The City Council must approve all increases in total fund appropriations. Amounts in this budget may be reallocated within funds by approval of the city manager, as long as those total budgeted amounts do not exceed the appropriations by fund. Department heads submit budget amendment requests transferring appropriations from one line to another within the specific department appropriation with approval by the finance director and the city manager. The focus of the 26 budget is to provide excellent services to our citizens and business customers, to continue to allocate significant resources dedicated to improving infrastructure and the city's quality of life. The City of Mableton fiscal year 26 budget is the culmination of the city's priority-driven programming that reflects council's approved priorities along with significant citizen engagement and feedback throughout the previous fiscal year. This budget provides the needed resources to provide services and projects that meet the needs of our citizens now and in the future. As we celebrate our first full fiscal year of incorporation and our first annual budget, the fiscal year 2006 budget reflects Mableton's commitment to financial discipline, transparency, accountability, and fiscal prudence. Finally, our sincere appreciation is expressed to staff and department heads for the amount of work and effort expended in this process under the tremendous time pressures. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Matter of fact, thank you, Director Ellis. I know how much work has gone into this, and as much as it kills me that this was all printed out, it really hurts my feelings. But it does give me, and hopefully the council, an appreciation, and all of y'all, of the amount of work that's gone in to create this detailed budget. Again, like you said, that was based on priorities that myself and the City Council brought forth during our planning retreat, or planning conference as we call it. This is your work, ladies and gentlemen, right? Your voice speaking directly to your council members and to myself has led to this. Again, built upon priorities that the City of Mableton, the people of the City of Mableton has said that they wanted to see, has now turned into a budget. With that being said, I would like to open our public hearing. And as usual, if anyone wants to speak for or against the public hearing, Madam Clerk, I think you can lay out the rules and allow people to start queuing.
Yes, if anyone would like to speak, just go over to the wall and we'll ask that you state your name and the district. And also keep your limits, you're speaking to around 3 minutes at least. If not, I'll have to call you down. But so others will have an opportunity to speak. Is there anybody that wants to speak about the budget? Could you go to the podium, because
You need to,
we'd like
ma'am,
to
because
hear
it's
you.
recording.
Okay, I'm speaking as a Cobb County Master Gardener. I see in your budget that you have $160,000 allocated for trees, and I want to know what's a tree city, and where would these trees be placed around the city?
So I'm going to have our Sustainability Beautification Director, Emily Groth, speak to that.
Yes, I'd be happy to. That was a good question. Thank you. A tree city is an official city designation bestowed upon different municipalities by the National Arbor Day Foundation. Many cities around us have been tree cities for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. It's a recurring annual certification that does help to unlock additional grants and tree programming from the Arbor Day Foundation. As far as specifics on plantings and where, again, as our finance director stated, that fund will come before the council for any projects and expenditures before they happen.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Sir, you're acknowledged.
Yeah, I do want to follow up with what our sustainability director mentioned this tree fund is established for a tree fund, but we also have, you'll see tonight that we'll be moving forward, educating people on Keep Mableton Beautiful. And beautification efforts will expand beyond just trees. I think there's going to be a lot of projects that Emily will explain. So that is also in the budget. So someone may, especially for master gardeners, which we appreciate volunteers wanting to help beautify our city. And there's going to be plenty of opportunity, I believe, through our Keep Mableton Beautiful for those who want to help and volunteer and be a part of that organization, especially master gardeners.
Thank you for that. Do we have anyone else that wishes to speak for on the pro side of the public hearing for the FY26 budget? Calling twice. Calling a third time. Hearing none, is there anyone that would like to speak against the FY26 budget in any form or fashion? No? Seeing none, thank you. I appreciate everyone for their input and their willingness to be here. Thank you again, Director Ellis, for your presentation. At this point in time, seeing no one else wishing to speak on this public hearing, I will declare this public hearing officially closed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll move on now to item 7. Item 7 is first item for that is a update by our Community Development Director, Mr. Michael Hughes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Staff certainly appreciates this opportunity to provide you with an update as it relates to what's been happening in our Community Development Department. And I need to get the clicker here. All right. So majority, so the first slide here is just a quick look at our current staffing as it stands now. a majority of our community development management team actually has been here for less than 4 months, and we have one member that's been here for 7 months. So a young team, at least in terms of being here in the city of Mableton, but a very experienced team. And I think you'll see as we go through this presentation that we've accomplished a significant amount during the time that we've been together. In terms of just ordinance adoptions, just want to touch on a few things with respect to zoning, our occupational taxation and business license. We've established our planning commission, board of zoning appeals creation, building and construction, as well as our zoning map. And then most recently, our environmental and natural resources ordinance, and also our tree preservation ordinance, which was just referenced just a few moments ago. Our business license division, our team has been working steadily in terms of managing our application activities and process. We've updated documents for our license and permit forms. We've done our interdepartmental workflow revisions as they relate to COP, water, fire, zoning, permitting, and then also our digital license submission and renewal with reviews as well. And then our renewal timeline has been established, and then our penalty and interest fee assessment. I also want to emphasize compliance, or SAVE registration, which is a systematic alien verification for entitlements. Businesses, there's a mandatory requirement that all businesses seeking a license have to, or a occupational tax have to go through this process. Our excise tax business compliance component, and as well as our delinquent letters business compliance as well. We're also looking at some technology options as well in business license, our software implementation. We are about to roll out Cloud Permit, which is a new software platform we'll be using not only for business license, but as well as building permits, licensing, planning, and zoning code enforcement. And then data transfer with Cobb County, we still are going to need the records as it relates to the regulatory businesses that will be transferring over as we begin to monitor our regulatory businesses in the community as well. And then one other last item here under technology are phones. We are aware of some challenges that the public are having reaching us, and so we're working with IT to get the appropriate telephone infrastructure available so that folks can reach us efficiently. One of the other things we were looking at too is a public-facing web update. We do want to, as we are growing into hiring our communications director, as well as establishing perhaps a different website, want to be sure that we have good information out on the public-facing website so that information about new business license, the layout, contact information, when people know when you are required to have a business license, so it's clear to the public when that is required. And then just some onboarding and standard operating procedures as well. A business license policy handbook is something that our staff is working on as well. Our building permits or building inspections and permit group, that's led by a team. We have 5. We have our chief building official, we have a permit tech, our inspections supervisor, and then also our building inspections, or 2 building inspectors. They're responsible obviously for issuing building, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, and commercial and residential permits, reviewing submittal and review of construction plans, as well as conducting building inspections. Inspection metrics from March 1st of this year to present include the following. Building permits issued 251. Trade permits that have been issued, and that's your electrical, mechanical, and plumbing, 315. And then building inspections completed, almost 400. And then planning and zoning, I'm sorry, I went past that. And then land development, we have obtained our local issuing authority, which was approved April 28th. Staff has attended one Cobb County Soil Commission meeting, And then we've established our land disturbance process with coordination with the Georgia Soil and Water Conservation, Cobb DOT, Cobb Fire, and Cobb Water as well. We currently have 9 pending land disturbance permit applications, and 1 minor land disturbance permit has been issued. Functions of zoning, as I mentioned early on, zoning manages our planning commission, our board of zoning appeals. We also conduct pre-application meetings with applicants who are considering developing in our community. We also issue zoning verification letters, permit and business license review, land disturbance, and then plat review as well, and then other zoning agenda items. And just a couple of milestones. Again, had our first planning commission meeting that was held April 1st, and our second one on May 6th. We have had one of our special land use permit has gone through the full process. That was Swarm Football Club. They had a special land use permit that was reviewed by the planning commission and approved by mayor and council. So we're excited about that. We have another rezoning application process that is actually in the process. Planning Commission recommended approval of that one at their meeting last week, and this will be coming before Mayor and Council later this month. And this is a church that's located on Lion Clubs Drive. We've established our Board of Zoning Appeals, and then their first meeting is actually tomorrow. Historic preservation, we have met with Cobb County staff just recently, and based on that meeting, putting together some recommendations for implementation of our historic preservation services as it relates to the Concord historical area that's been established in Cobb County for many, many years. Comprehensive plan. As you know, we are under contract to Grice Consulting as it relates to preparing the county's first ever comprehensive plan. It's an inaugural plan. We actually have a public information meeting tomorrow night on the 12th. That meeting will be here. The public is certainly invited to come. And if for some reason you're not able to make it, I want to mention this is just the first of many public meetings that we'll have during this process. I also want to mention that Mableton, there is a website too, Mableton2045.org, that you are certainly invited to go to, leave comments, remarks, and also just to track the timeline as it relates to completing this project. And an aside, I'll just mention too, in order for the city to maintain its qualified local government status, the county or the city has actually adopted the county's comprehensive plan as an interim step. And that plan is being submitted to the Atlanta Regional Commission of the Department of Community Affairs in order to maintain its qualified local status. And just some other technology updates. I already referenced the cloud permit software implementation that's already underway. Just today, we met with a company called ESRI as it relates to exploring some GIS implementation opportunities. There also may be some more efficient ways to conduct our code enforcement activities, as well as economic development. They have a host of modules that are potentially available, so we're evaluating some opportunities to utilize that service as well. And then Bluebeam software is something that our chief building official has asked us to explore, and that will help us be more efficient in terms of our digital plan review. So people will be able to submit their plans online. Don't have to print everything as was just referenced earlier. We don't have to create a lot of paper.
It's 11/20/25. We
Sorry.
would like to welcome all you to our Mableton City Council regular meeting.
Sorry. Go ahead, sorry.
All right, that's okay. And then in terms of next steps, where we see things going, we're just going to be looking at reviewing and adopting ordinances for alcohol, regulatory, and historic preservation. In terms of staffing, we are working towards hiring the positions that are currently vacant. We have a couple of senior planner positions as well as planner positions. And then we're also looking at the potential for site inspectors, folks that will go out and actually, as sites are under construction, making sure that these developers are complying with our local requirements and development standards as it relates to building in our community. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you
I
for
have
that,
a
Director
question.
Hughes.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, ma'am. I yield the floor.
Good afternoon. There's a lot of significant activity that's happening throughout the city for planning and zoning. What is your process to keep the council updated on the planning and zoning that's happening in their respective districts?
Great question. Great question. And I'm happy to schedule some individual meetings with each of you on a regular basis. We can put meetings on the calendar, and I'm happy to touch base with you, either virtually or in person. And so we'll be looking to schedule those meetings so you're aware of what projects are going on, what applications have been submitted in your area, particularly those that are significant.
I know that Cobb County had an in the zone monthly meeting that I thought was beneficial. And so do you anticipate doing something similar to also include the public?
Mr. Let me answer that one. That in the zone was post zoning decisions, and that was done by a commissioner. That's something that you all can do. What I don't want to commit staff to do is to do that. I want to be careful over committing staff to start doing that. They have to stay focused on the process and make sure they stay within the lines of what's legal, what's required. When we start putting out information that's not shared completely with the public or not available to all public, it could put us in a compromised position. So if we want to do something like in the zone, that could be done. And most times that's happened after a zoning decision has. So there's some strict rules with regard to council's interaction before you hear a case. So I don't want Mr. Hughes to overcommit. So I had to jump in on that one. I apologize.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Hughes, I have a question about the regulatory and alcohol. I think I was looking at the org chart and I didn't see any vacancies for that. So do you plan on hiring anyone to take on alcohol and regulatory? Do you already have the staff for it? And then what's the timeline around that?
So we have two individuals committed to business license and regulatory now. I do think we probably may need an additional staff person to address that. And we've got a couple of vacancies. Actually, we got more than a couple of vacancies. We have two planners and two senior planners. And depending on how workload works out, we could always look at taking one of those planner positions and putting towards alcohol or regulatory if the workload gets to be too significant.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
One question I had was about the delinquent businesses.
Mm-hmm.
How is that process looking? Is it being fruitful?
We're getting underway with that. So that's up there more to let you know it's on our radar screen, and we know we need to dedicate some resources to make sure we are going out and meeting with businesses or folks that are in business that should have business licenses and making sure. So that's something on our radar screen at this point. And we're not there just quite yet.
Do you anticipate needing staff?
I do. And let the city manager answer that as well.
Yes, sir. So compliance would fall more on our code enforcement side. We wouldn't charge the business license folks to go out and find. They would obviously process. But what we do in code enforcement under Mr. Alejandro is right after the license season, we can schedule a few months where they make what we call a hit or surge, where we commit a certain amount of code officers to go around and check for licenses. You typically want to have seasons. There's grass season, then there's apartment inspection seasons, but once you have grass season down and another season down, I've already talked to Mr. Alejandro to discuss what's his strategic approach. And one of those is to start having a commercial component under code enforcement that will be in cohesion and work with the community development department business license. And once they see delinquencies, they take that list and then they go out and start hitting folks up. So that is a plan we're going to talk about that's going to probably be more on code enforcement. The business license office will make the notifications, but then code enforcement is the ones that goes out and get compliance.
Hey, Councilwoman Herman.
Question. You mentioned the focus toward the historic preservation. Shouldn't we be establishing our, I don't know if I asked you or whoever, shouldn't we be establishing our historic preservation commission at this point, or?
We have the ordinance, and the ordinance will actually establish the commission, and then you would make appointments once that's established. So we actually have an ordinance, a draft of one pulled together. I'm still reviewing it to make sure it has everything in it that I think it needs, and then we will share it with city council or city attorney's office to make sure that it covers everything that it should. And then at that point, you can make appointments for the
Do you know the
commission.
timeline? Because we kind of need a running start on trying to find the appointees. Or should we start now?
I would say start
Yesterday,
now.
last
At
week.
least be thinking about individuals. Because with the ordinance is pretty much done. We just need to make a few tweaks here and there. Thank you.
Council, any other questions, comments? Hearing none, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, is that close to the members of the council or audience participation?
Those questions were closed to the members of the council. More than happy to make sure we have some discussions afterwards, though. So the next item is the presentation and discussion of the affiliation process to keep Mableton beautiful. Again, our Sustainability, Waste and Beautification Director, Emily Groth.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This will be a brief and brilliant informational presentation, and it's also intended just to get a temperature and let you know that with a head nod that we'll get rolling pretty quickly on next steps. So I wanted to provide the council with an update and an overview of what's needed to establish Keep Mableton Beautiful. We'll talk about Keep America Beautiful, which is the overall national nonprofit that all of the Keep X Beautiful organizations fall under. We'll talk specifically about the affiliate program for Keep Mableton Beautiful, and I'll leave with some departmental updates. So Keep America Beautiful is a national nonprofit. It's dedicated to all the things that I assume our Mableton community wants to see. Litter prevention, waste reduction, recycling, and beautification. It's been around a while. It's got top 3 programs is the affiliate network that we're all familiar with, as well as America Recycles Day in November, and the Great American Cleanup that happens every summer. These are some of the numbers nationally that the Keep America Beautiful nonprofit is able to achieve with national affiliates. Some of the benefits of a Keep America Beautiful affiliate is networking, training, collaboration. You see we have Keep Smyrna Beautiful, Keep Cobb Beautiful. There's a statewide Keep Georgia Beautiful, Keep South Fulton Beautiful. These organizations are pretty frequent around our area. They open up grant opportunities directly through Keep America Beautiful. And again, there's several networking opportunities. So some of the steps to establish and begin working on a Keep Mableton Beautiful would be the application process, which involves a letter of support that could come from the mayor and or city council, a one-time application fee that is in next year's budget. So we're ready and ready to submit that application fee beginning as early as July 1. And then council representation. And along with that would be memorializing it either through a resolution or an ordinance. That's something that we can get clarification on through legal and city manager. But the first steps would be memorializing the group through a resolution or ordinance, and then starting to get council representation appointed to the board. Once we have that group memorialized and identified, we'll move into training. There are 2 trainings, community training and affiliate training. And then we'll establish the nuts and bolts of the organization. That includes the executive director, bylaws, a budget, and a logo. One of the more exciting pieces is that this group can also file for a nonprofit. It is a separate process from Keep America Beautiful affiliation. So Keep Mableton Beautiful can be both a Keep America Beautiful affiliate program, and it can also be its own separate 501c3 nonprofit, which unlocks fundraising opportunities. Just a little bit of future thinking. We've got some draft logos here, just because that's usually the fun part. And then once KMB is operational, you could expect to see monthly meetings, regular sustainability programming, different stakeholder events. Some initial projects that KMB could tackle is formalizing a Mableton City Limits Adopt a Road program. Cobb County's Adopt a Mile, very similar. Sustainability events calendar, what you can expect every season, different recycling events. And then again, identifying those fundraising opportunities to enhance beautification. And then I'll close with just some brief departmental updates. Me and the city manager are working on a household hazardous waste event, tentatively scheduled for the end of June. So you may or may not see that come before you again. If not, it is also budgeted for next year's budget, which begins in July. So hoping for an HHW, household hazardous waste event sometime this summer. A little farther out, quarterly reporting will be due in August. That'll be our first quarterly report from our waste haulers for the April through June quarter. And then again, while we have an audience, we have 2 drop-off opportunities right now at our 6116 Mableton Parkway operational location, which is composting like food scraps, banana peels, coffee grounds outside of the building, and then inside the community development office, we have drop-off for handheld electronics. And I'll close for any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that report. I do have a couple of things. So thank you for the report. It was brief but packed full of information. This is one of those things where, you know, long before you were elected, when we first put our first spending plan together, the city approved $25,000 towards beautification efforts in the city, and part of that was to start keep Mableton beautiful. To this time, I don't think we actually spent any of that, but the money was set aside, and we continue to do so, and we'll continue to set money aside for beautification efforts, largely because our residents have asked for it and want to continue to make sure we're doing it. As it relates to Keep Mableton Beautiful, this is also one of those areas to where we started this effort, but without a director in place, quite frankly, we pressed a pause button on it. So when people that have reached out and even earlier talked to the fact of not having things going, I've submitted the letter of support to Keep America Beautiful to start this program. I've had conversations with them. They are, as you know now, they're waiting on us, right? The initial application was put together. The letter of support was sent over, and I want to make it clear so the council knows as well. There's actually 2 elements to this. One is the actual board for Keep Mableton Beautiful, but the other is the larger committee, if you will. I think to date we've had 23 residents sign up to say they want to be part of the larger committee. And so I'd be happy to get those folks connected and get this larger committee, the training committee, if you will, up and going. Attend the KB community training. And what I was told by them was we could have literally as many people as we wanted to attend that. So it's a committee, but it's a committee of whoever is willing to show up. So I think we have those lists of people who have signed up, and I'm willing to get those to you and to make sure we can go ahead and reach out to them to get that next step of the process going.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you bring up a good distinction, and I'll echo what you said. The community training is open to anyone, so that larger board, the community, anyone from the community can go, and it's an introductory meeting about your proposed Keep X Beautiful. The distinction comes once you go into that affiliate training. Exactly. That's when we'll need that board of those 7 members. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. 2 separate trainings, and then it kind of gets fine-tuned as we go through this process. So it's important to note that everyone is welcome and on board from start to finish.
Yeah, and the point is, since we have that list of folks, we can at least go ahead and let them know and get them engaged from that perspective, while the council works to the actual board appointees. So, but thank you.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make ask one clarifying question. You mentioned 6116 recycling drop-offs. That is 6116.
Mableton Parkway. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes. Important distinction.
Yes.
Thank you.
Not 6116 Peachtree Drive.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
I
116
slipped a little too hard
Mableton Parkway.
into the lingo. Yes, sir. Yes. 6116 Mableton Parkway has 2 drop-off opportunities currently open.
Thank you, council. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, thank you, Director.
Thank you.
At this point in time, Madam Clerk, do we have any comment cards? If we do, I'd like to go ahead and start our public comment for this evening.
Yes, Mayor, I have 4 here, and our first speaker is Denny Wilson of District 2.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Wilson?
And as a reminder, it's 2 minutes time limit. Following Ms. Wilson is Kelly Johnson.
Hello again. I think I've said enough tonight, but I want to end this with one thing. There are people who are saying what you guys should have done, but regardless of what the situation was and is now, I think you did the right thing. I did an open records request, and I got the email that the county sent Mayor Owens. And that email specifically said that as of 11:59, they would cut off law enforcement services, they would cut off DOT services, and they would cut off stormwater services to the city of Mableton. So when he said that, he was telling the truth, because I read the letter with my own eyes and I saw exactly what it said. So we can say what we would have done, but we were not in the position that this council was in. And the fact that they protected the residents of Mableton by doing what they thought was the best thing to do, I applaud them for that. And what we really should be appreciating is the fact that they did what they had to do to make sure that Mableton was not without law enforcement. As you heard the young lady say earlier, how her mother, the incident that happened at her home, and it took Cobb County Police 15 minutes to get there. Tragic incident. But thank you guys for not putting us at risk, because I'm a senior, I live alone. And I cannot think of having to be without police services. So, don't pay attention to anyone that says what you should have done. Just keep focused and keep doing what you did. And if the situation presented itself again, I would expect you to do the same thing that you did. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
Kelly Johnson, and after Mr. Johnson is Sheila Edwards.
Good evening. I've come to speak, and I apologize. I'm Kelly Johnson. I've come to speak about 2045, but before I do that, I would like to deliver expressions of condolences to Mr. Tanks and gratitude to Councilor Oliver, if you would accept these, please. As far as 2045 is concerned, what I heard from the first meeting, I guess I'll just pose in a simple question. What is it that you want your legacy to be in 2045? Because what I heard from the first meeting was more of a pitch and concern about today. And I think it's important that if you're going to bring the city along onto that, you want to give consideration to what your legacy will be. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sheila Edwards, and after Miss Edwards is Joshua Helms. Helms.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, ma'am.
Again, my name is Sheila Edwards, District 3. Keisha Jeffcoat is my councilwoman. I've followed this process relative to the 9.5 million bill from the county. And I say truth matters. For years, I've talked about South Cobb, me and a lot of folks in this room, being treated like the redheaded stepchild. We've been denied a lot of things. We've been overlooked. East Cobb gets a new library. We get, a Band-Aid on the roof of our library. Things like that. Now that we are a city and have a government, we are treated like the redheaded stepchild with deep pockets. My expectation would be that Mableton was not going to fight this fight by themselves, because we have two people that reside in this area, Lisa Cupid and Monique Sheffield. Where were they when Mableton was at the table fighting this fight? And where were they when this discussion about services being cut off was threatened to us? As I said before, truth matters. They should be the first person saying no, pushing back. But they are nowhere to be found. They issue a statement to the MDJ, but how about being here today to talk to us and explain their positions? Chair Cupid did a town hall a few weeks ago, but did she look to the west to see the suffering of those in apartments that are subject to living in third world conditions right here in Mableton? Does she even acknowledge them? Bandages will not suffice for something this serious. So as we continue to banter this 9.5 million bill back and forth, again, I challenge you all to ask for the receipts. Where's the paperwork? You wouldn't pay that for yourselves and your own personal stuff, so don't do it for ours. I think someone spoke earlier about grants and getting a grant writer in place, but they must have overlooked the process that we have a president in place who's doing away with any and every possible grant or expendable dollar that could be dispersed to states. So as we look to move forward, make sure that we include those thoughts and processes as you move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards.
Joshua Helms.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
My name is Joshua Helms, and I am a resident in District 3. My wife and I moved to Mableton in August of 2023. Due to storms and wind, we've had power loss events occurring 8 times since we've moved here, and 6 of those have been over the last year. My question is, I wanted to ask if there was an infrastructure plan actively in the works and who is currently managing the infrastructure plan for the city of Mableton.
I'm sorry, public comment's not a question and answer session. It's just you voice your comments.
That's fair. I guess it's that in the last 10 months, we've lost power 6 times.
We'll make sure it's addressed, sir.
Thank you.
There's not any more cards.
Thank you, ma'am. Hearing no more public comment cards, we'll go ahead and close the public comment section for this evening. Council, we'll move right along to section 10, which is the consent agenda. The consent agenda contains 3 items. Those are the May 28th, 2025 work session minutes, the May 28th, 2025 regular meeting minutes, and the May 30th, 2025 specially called meeting minutes. That's what consists of the consent agenda. With that being said, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'd like to
to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Motion's been made and seconded by Councilman Davis. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. No opposition, the ayes have it. Thank you, council. We'll move straight along to new business. That we do not have any unfinished business for this evening. The first item of new business is listed on your agenda as 12A. This is a consideration and approval of an agreement between the City of Mableton and Atlanta Commercial Real Estate Brokers for the lease of Hawthorne Plaza Shopping Center, 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway, Suite 30, which is in Mableton, Georgia. Mr. Tanks, I know you're going to bring this forward. This may seem as a duplication to some, since we already have an approved agreement between City of Mableton and the brokers for a lease at Hawthorne Plaza, but this is an extension or an additional suite, if I'm not correct. Right, correct, sir?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, that is correct. This suite here, as I think the council had mentioned a couple of meetings back, now that we have a code enforcement department, we want to put teeth behind our code enforcement department with a municipal court. And so wanting to have a full municipal court, anticipating taking on additional responsibilities of enforcement, compliance, and other things, we need the space that meets the requirements of a court. And the court should have certain safety requirements for the public, for the judge, the solicitor, and the staff. So we searched and looked and thought about all types of options. And so to secure a space that would meet our needs and fulfill the demands we anticipate, this suite was ideal, being that it is right next door to our administration building. And the way it's situated, this particular suite has a courtyard that's not accessible to everyone and really provides a nice space for something that provides a court. So we're pursuing this, Mayor, so we can begin the city to have their own municipal court.
Thank you, sir. I think I'd also add that this specific location gives us the opportunity to have more private parking, which we don't want to take up parking for residents and for citizens. So having additional private parking at this location, I think, is a bonus as well. At this point in time, council, I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion to consider and approve this agreement.
I'd like to make a motion for consideration and approval of agreement between the City of Mableton and Atlanta Commercial Real Estate Brokers for the lease of Hawthorne Plaza Shopping Center, 1245 Veterans Memorial Highway, Suite 30, Mableton, Georgia, 30126.
I second.
Thank you. Motion's been made and seconded by Councilman Ferguson. Any discussion, council?
Just wanted to ask about time frame. I might have missed that.
Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir.
I don't think it was a trick question.
No, actually, I thank you, Mr. Ferguson. I needed that laugh. And it's not laughing at you, but it is one of those tough questions. We have set a very aggressive goal to have a court space available by October. But experience tells me by the end of this year. But I do want to say to this council, we have established some relationships with some of our other city partners that may help us. I know this council says expedite getting a court going, and we are actively looking at ways before this space is available to begin starting court. So I do want to say that. But realistically, sir, give us to by the end of the year.
Mr. Manager, I do want to say too, this is 5,000 square feet.
Yes, sir.
Not a small task.
No, sir.
There is some specific build out, as you said, because this is going to be a municipal court. It's not just like a regular office space. There is some specific build out that has to be done with security and safety in mind, since it's going to be a court. But I do think there's potentially a built-in advantage because of the development being done, or the redevelopment build out of this being done. It's still in-house, correct?
Oh, yes, sir. That is a great point, Mayor. This particular property owner does the construction as part of the deal, which is rare. Typically, we would have to go out and find a contractor, a project manager, pay them to go find a contractor to oversee it. But because they have their own in-house, it gives the city a cost savings, eliminating the need for a project manager, and they assume some of the responsibilities because it's their facility. So this is a very good deal that doesn't typically happen, so it is an advantage to it.
It doesn't necessarily shorten the time, but
Right.
I think it has a little more control over it, right? Not having to deal with so many different vendors. Any other question, comments? Yes, Mr.
I think the motion was to approve, but might just add approve and to authorize the mayor to execute and finalize the agreement.
Thank you for that. With that being said, Councilwoman Jeffcoat, would you like to amend your agenda, please?
Say that again.
Your motion, I believe, was to approve, but just to approve and then to authorize the mayor to execute and finalize the agreement.
Okay, what he said.
To authorize to execute and finalize.
To authorize and execute and finalize the mayor to finalize the agreement.
Thank you. I acknowledge that amendment, and we still have a second.
Second.
Councilman Ferguson. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call the question. All those in favor of approval of the motion made by Councilwoman Jeffcoat, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it. Thank you, Council. We'll move right along to item 12B, which is consideration and approval of an agreement between the City of Mableton and MCRE Management Partners, LLC, for the 6116 Mableton Parkway, Suite 136. Again, Mr. Manager, this may seem as a duplicate, but it is not. As our city continues to grow and have a need for additional space, this Suite 136, I think at the same location, 6116 Mableton Parkway, is an expansion in that space. Would you care to elaborate, sir? The floor is yours.
Yes, sir. One thing to note on this one is that the Community Development Department, you saw their presentation, our city has a very experienced and robust community development function. When we added the chief building official, which is rare, they're expensive. We got a very good, one of the top in the state, chief building official here in the city, you should be proud of, plus an inspector. When you add that staff and what we're doing over in the land disturbance piece, the zoning piece, on what this department is, we were just out of space once we built out. So we were hoping to find some space to expand this growth, and that facility became available. What's nice about it is that we do not plan to spend any major capital dollars in there. We're just going to go in as is and use it for extra space until our funding allows. We're going to have to probably put most of our dollars on the court. And so the way that the finance director has it budgeted, we're going to probably get in this one sooner, Mr. Ferguson, because we don't expect a big build out right now, but it's going to give us the much needed seats we're already short. And so the city has grown rapidly over the last 6 months coming into transition. Finance department is very robust too. I think we got a full finance department coming up, community development fully staffed. We've done quite well, and we got all our directors. I think we have 2 more directors to hire, and we have all the directors we need, and we're ready to go full budget year. And this space is going to allow us, for a very reasonable price and location, to accommodate the needs of all our staff, and then give us some time to accumulate other funds in the future to do other things. So this one's been ready to go. Put a few desks in there. I don't plan to do any major renovations in that space.
This is an opportunity. I'm going to give you an out on this. I'm not going to commit you to not spending any money into this new space.
Oh, yeah, well.
All right? I'm going to stop you short of that one.
Sir.
And reserve the liberty to come back to us.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mayor. As you know, I've been pretty stressed here lately, so I appreciate that.
I'll stop you on that, and we will.
No major renovations, but you're right. We could get in there, and if something's going to be done.
Duly noted. Duly noted, sir. All right. With that being said, Council, I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion for consideration and approval of the agreement allowing the mayor to have final execution of the agreement.
To finalize and execute.
Yes. Do we have a taker?
Yes.
Motion to allow the mayor to finalize and execute the agreement between the City of Mableton and MCRE Management Partners, LLC, for the 6116 Mableton Parkway, Southwest Suite 136.
I second.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded by Councilman Davis. Any further discussion, Council? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and call the question. All those in favor of approval of the motion made by Councilman Ferguson, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. No opposition, the ayes have it. Thank you, Council. I do believe this is the last order of business in front of us today. With that, Mr. Manager, do you have any comments or announcements, sir?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Let me get my list. First, I want to thank our staff and everyone that helped and volunteered with our Mableton Anniversary Weekend as we continue to celebrate this city's birth and birthday. It's something to be very proud of, looking at where we were last year and where we were this year. I love to see the growth and the excellence, and it's only going to continue to get better. So I just want to thank everybody that helped, that came out and supported our city. During that time of the Mableton anniversary, we were also in the trenches with service delivery negotiations, and so kudos to this council for being able to chew gum and walk at the same time, to celebrate and fight. That's a CB spirit, so I appreciate that. And then, Mr. Mayor, I have to believe that Emmy's got a hazardous household waste that's probably going to come up soon, so heads up, be looking out for that program. Okay. And I want to thank everyone. If anything, I couldn't talk earlier because I probably would have burst out in tears when you were honoring my wife, but if I've learned anything from Leanne, and that is to, you don't realize what you have until it's gone. And this council is amazing. I've worked around local government for a while. I've had the most stubborn elected folks that think they know everything, but don't listen, and then they end up getting in trouble, then they ask staff to bail them out. You have been very supportive in allowing us to build a team of outstanding directors. When you look at our finance director, Karen Ellis, and her team, to be where we are today, to produce the budget they have, and think about where we were a year ago with QuickBooks, with QuickBooks. And we have a bona fide adopted budget and an audit going. I just want to shout out Karen Ellis. She has been a superstar, hit the ground running, worked every day, late nights, the department, they're on top of their game. So, but that's a reflection of you as a council wanting to recruit, retain, and attract the best talent. You could have very well told me, nope, you go get average talent at average price, but you supported that. And so what you've done for this city by allowing it, I want to say thank you, because you didn't have to do that for us. And also shout out to all the directors in this time that I am mourning, the loss of my wife. This city and these directors, I've been absent, but the work has gone on. When I came back, I mean, they are rocking and rolling, they're getting things done. And so I want to shout out all directors, Mr. Hughes and the community development team, crushing it. I mean, everyone on this team. So I want to publicly thank all the directors. And then my wife's service will be on Sunday. It's going to be a visitation. Monday is the service. If you can go to West Cobb Funeral Home for details. And so that's my comments, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for that, sir. Is there a recommendation for executive session? Thank you. Duly noted. Second? Yeah, I was asked for his recommendation. Doesn't mean we do or not, but. Yes. Mr. Turney, anything for us this evening? I know you're filling in for Amelia. Thank you for taking the time to come in. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk?
No comment.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Davis?
Just quickly, first of all, I want to just commend our city manager and thank you for all of your hard work and actually your dedication. I always say, you know, there's some people who want to make a difference, others want to make a name or whatever, and you've proven yourself as a man who wants to make a difference, so I salute you for that. The second thing is, we talked about, you know, the decisions that were made and that kind of thing. And I'm going to say this for the, you know, we can say for the record or whatever. As far as Ron Stewart Davis is concerned, I will never make a decision based on merely whether it'll get me reelected or not. I will make my decisions always on what is best for the city. Anything less than that, I will be doing a disservice to the city. It was not an easy decision, but it had to be made. And I will always, as a resident of this area for about 28 years, I have a vested interest because this is my home. And what affects you also affects me. What affects you affects every councilman in their district and the mayor. So I just want to make that known. So, if decisions become hard and they have to be made, and if they're in the best interest of this city, if you decide you don't want me back, well, at least at least I did what I thought was the best thing for the city and its residents, and I will always do that. Never forget it. And that's all I have.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Owens. I want to thank you all for coming here tonight. I know we've been here since 5. Well, most of you have. I got here at 5:05. Apologies for my tardiness. But I appreciate you all for being here. I want to send my condolences to the Tanks family. Mr. Tanks, I don't know how or why you're here today, but we thank you. And I am very sorry about the loss of your wife. And I can't talk about it without getting emotional, but because I know how much you love your wife and talk about her all the time. Thank you all for coming tonight. I have nothing else. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Jeffcoat.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming here again. It has been a long day. I want to talk a little bit about humanity and the importance for us to have compassion. We as a council, we were elected into these positions to serve you. And it's not about the position that we're here. It's really about, being there for one another. And through the 2 years that we've been on this council, I like to think, become family to some degree. Like we're like brothers and sisters. We fight, we make up, and then we fight again and make up again. And, Mr. Tanks, just a consummate professional. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and it's not about the position. It's about, rolling up his sleeves and getting the work done. And I just appreciate you so much in your leadership and what you do. And I know it's difficult. I know you love the city of Mableton a lot, and I know how much you love your family and your beloved wife. I know what she meant to you. I would stop you in the hall and let you know I'm praying for you, and that I'm rooting for you, and that I'm in your corner. And I think all of us share that same sentiment. And we just appreciate you being the great leader that you are. The Bible says that weeping may endure for a moment, but joy comes in the morning. And so I just want to leave that with you and just let you know I'm here for you if you need anything. And we're praying for you. We're all praying for you and lifting you up. I always say I never have a lot, but I do. I have a lot to say. So I'll try to go really quickly. As far as service delivery strategy, I think what's significantly important is the distinction. You've heard me talk about service delivery strategy. I don't want to go down this, rabbit hole because I don't want to, restate what has already been said. But I do want to say this in particular in regards to the distinction between having the legal authority and then us having police vulnerability, right? And so if we did not meet the deadline by the particular date, which was May 31st, if we did not make that date, what that meant is that we would essentially go into sanctions, and there'll be some level of police insecurity. So it's akin to like having driving a car, but you don't have a driver's license, right? Can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? Probably not. And so Cobb County, would they have not provided police services? Probably not. But the police insecurity was there. And so that is what I voted, why I voted to move forward with the agreement, the $9.5 million agreement. So I just want to be clear on that. And then the other second part about, long-term relationships, making, that's significantly important, right? And so not just with the county, but also with our neighboring cities, that we have to partner with. So that's all I'll say about service delivery strategy. Vote. It's early voting. It's happening now for Georgia Public Service Commission. Why is this important? They play a critical role in regulating our electricity, natural gas rates. They're directly impacting our utility bills. I know I feel it. I don't know if you guys can feel it, but I certainly feel it. And so it's very important for you to get out and vote this week. And then there'll be early voting now until Friday. And then let's see what else. The Green Room Restaurant in my district is having kids karaoke night. I think that's important for us to get our kids involved in these kinds of activities. They're out for the summer, and so it'll take place on Friday, June 13th, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and it'll be at the Green Room Restaurant. So please share that information. The Green Room will also have on Saturday the Soul Nights musical tribute show celebrating Motown's greatest hits. So if you're able to go, you can go to their website and find out more information about those two events. On Saturday, we have Matilda's Garden. It's a special Juneteenth dedication honoring the life and legacy of Matilda Ruff and her descendants. So it's going to highlight the garden and the bench by the road project as part of the ongoing efforts by the Friends of the Concord Covered Bridge. It will start at 10 a.m. at the Silver Comic Trailhead entrance, and it will feature a keynote speaker, Tanya Cotton, who is Matilda Ruff's great-great-granddaughter. So this is a tribute that's going to be made possible with support from the John Quill Garden Club, Cobb Parks, and the Toni Morrison Bench Project. So if you're able to make that, please do come out. June is Black Music Month. I have to say that I'm a creative at heart. I love music. So if you have an opportunity, we have the amphitheater. There are a lot of concerts and things that are going on there. So please make sure you go to their website, attend one of the concerts that's happening there. And then lastly, I do want to say that I'm fortunate to work alongside some great fathers on this council, on our staff, as well as in my family. And so I just want to wish everyone an early happy Father's Day. I know it isn't easy. You guys are protectors, you're providers, and you're spiritual leaders for your family. And so just wanted to wish you a happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Councilman Ock.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I want to remind you about the Comprehensive Plan Public Engagement Meeting, which will be tomorrow here at the Epicenter at 6:30 p.m. There's a Mableton Run Club organized by Mableton residents Madison Osuna and Rihanna Abrahams. The Run Club will meet every Thursday at 6:15 p.m. with the run taking off at 6:30 p.m. at the Floyd Road Trailhead at the Silver Comet at the Comet Trail Cycles bike shop. The group is open to any athletic ability from walkers to runners and everything in between. Also a reminder that June 20th is the second Food Truck Friday of the 2025 season. So if you didn't catch the first one, you have more opportunities to get your food truck on. Also a reminder that Sunday is Father's Day. And I also want to acknowledge not only all the fathers in Mableton, but a very special father in the room. He's a brand new to fatherhood with just a baby girl 3 days ago, Mr. James Hammond, our videographer. And
Is that why he was back there asleep? All right, he's forgiven.
I hope you have a very special first Father's Day. And I also want to extend my condolences to Mr. Tanks for your loss this week. That was a downer to end on. I'm sorry. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Councilman Ferguson, the floor is yours, sir.
So I have, thank you all for coming, for being here all this time. I've been extremely reluctant to bring this topic back up because of some public and I guess private backlash that I've received. But I read a devotional recently that speaks to everyone knowing their purpose and listening to when God tells them to work in their purpose. I have a platform which allows his thoughts to be heard from who he needs them to be heard in the moment. So while there might be dissenters who don't want to hear that a sitting city council member has his mind focused on his mental health, that's what you have. And I'm not ashamed. And if I can talk to just one man that suffers in silence and save his life, I'm going to do so. A great example, this no. He speaks. A great example was this no vote when I cast during our regular council meeting a couple weeks ago. It gave me a serious platform to express the concerns I have for the city and what the county was doing. And in that end, I'd say that platform helped get a deal done, maybe one that sucks, but it got a deal done. And I believe that it's also going to help carry into the next deal that we're going to get done. These SDS questions and conversations are going to take time to answer and be found out and understood. But know this, your voice is heard. This council is number one, focused on getting the best deal done for this city. And our meetings are open to the public, and we are phone numbers, emails away. It's all listed on the website, mableton.gov. Reach out to us, make sure that your voices are heard. I don't go on Nextdoor every 5 minutes, so if you want to hear from me, please reach out. I need to know what your thoughts are, and I'm not gonna get it from there. June is Men's Health Month, and I'm focused this month on getting to see my doctor, getting my checkup, knowing my numbers, focusing on getting back in the gym, being about TJ, because I can't serve my wife, my daughter, District 5 or Mableton if my head is not in the game and if I'm not healthy. I challenge every man in this room and every man in the city of Mableton to do the exact same. Lastly, as everybody said, man, you all don't realize this family has given a lot to this county, not just this city. So I thank you. My condolences. I couldn't imagine losing mine. I'm with you. The walk. Come out on, what's today? June 14th at 8 a.m. Men, come on out. Wives, send your man, bring your man. It's not gonna be some formal whatever, but as the tagline kind of says, men need men to do life with. So come on out. Shut up, TJ.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Herndon, I hate you have to follow him all the time. But ma'am, the floor is yours.
It's okay, but it helps to make my comments very short. So good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone who came out today for our town hall. I thought it was very informative, and I'm always happy when our constituents have an opportunity to ask questions and actually get answers. So, thank you all for coming out. And for those who decided to stay, and for our online audience, I have a constituent who gives me a number in terms of how many people are watching online, and I understand it's about 15 or so who have tuned in to see what's going on in the city of Mableton. So thank you all for coming and participating. My council members have covered just about everything that I wanted to say, but I also want to give a heartfelt condolence to our city manager, Mr. Bill Tanks. Definitely praying for you and your family. And as you see, he's here working for the city of Mableton, even in his time of grief. So we appreciate you and we thank you for all that you do. So everyone have a good night and safe ride home.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Oladapo, you're acknowledged.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mayor, to get back to my comments. I started with Mr. Tanks and I couldn't continue. But I do hope you feel supported to take all the time you need. You don't have to be here. And my condolences and thoughts and prayers. I have a list of stuff I want to talk about here really quickly. This past weekend, we held a cleanup on Riverside Parkway, hosted by Keep Cop Beautiful, Austell Community Task Force, and we were able to clean up both District 1 going that way and District 2 going the other way. So thank you for that partnership with Keep Cop Beautiful and Austell Community Task Force. We were just so tired of seeing dirt on the road, and we're able to get rid of some of the trash and dirt that occupies our road. So really appreciative of those who came out and got that done. If you missed that, we also have another one this Saturday. So after Councilman Ferguson walk, you can join us on Riverside Parkway if you're not too tired to flex those cleanup muscles. This is being hosted by the Pay Forward 2K15 Foundation and in collaboration with Keep Cop Beautiful. So we'll be out here in the morning at 9 a.m. cleaning up Riverside Parkway again. And lastly, I want to thank Director Farrell for hosting a meeting with the residents of the apartment on Riverside Parkway. Just like Mr. Tang said, the directors are just doing a wonderful job. Mr. Tang was supposed to be at the meeting, but he wasn't there, but Mr. Farrell just held his ground, and he was able to provide valuable information, valuable updates to the residents as to the condition of the apartment, what code enforcement has been doing since we stood up the department, and updates, real live updates that the residents do not even know about the new ownership and things like that, and gave the residents a sense of confidence that they're being listened to and we're actively working on creating clean and equitable housing for our constituents. So I really appreciate you taking the time. I am so glad we have you on board, and I just want us to give him and his team a round of applause for all the hard work that they're doing. They've done so much and issued so many citations, so thank you. I appreciate you doing that. That's all I have, Mayor.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you. There's a couple of things I want to just address. Try not to reiterate too much was already said, but there is something to say for last weekend when we were celebrating the second anniversary of the city. At the same time fighting in this fight that we've been in, this incredible discussions and conversations we've been having about the future of our city. There's a dichotomy to it, and what it tells me is that it's classic. There's good times and there's bad times. There's good days and there's bad days, and we don't let the challenges we face overcome the adversity we've been able to surpass. We've done a lot of great things in the city over the last 2 years, and when we start to enumerate them and start to add them up, it really starts to show, and I'm going to get with our city manager here soon. We hope to have a State of the City that I'm going to host, because I do believe that we have to talk about the wins, and we talk about the great things that we've done in the city and the great talent that we've been able to amass through our staff that we have here, and simply the amount of work. I was interviewed by the Marietta Daily Journal last week while all this was going on, and in true Marietta Daily Journal fashion, they says, well, to the critics out there that would say that city hasn't done anything, that you're no better off without a city. Our city manager alluded to it a little while ago. We've had a situation where we had one representative for almost 100,000 people. And no matter how hard they work, that's in no way can replace what a council can be able to provide, what a staff can be able to provide, the ability for someone to come locally in to talk about a business that they want to start, or a land that they want to utilize for a certain reason. That local level of representation cannot be underestimated. So we will continue to talk about the good things that we do and the positive things that we do while we're still kind of entrenched in challenges that we're faced to deal with. I also want to talk about the fact that I think prior to our next meeting, we are all going to GMA, the Georgia Municipal Association, will have their annual conference over the next week, the 19th through the 24th, I think. The vast majority of us will be there. Many of our counterparts from other cities will be there. It's a fantastic opportunity for us to continue to learn as we grow as members of this council. It gives us opportunity to connect with other people who are going through some of these similar challenges. And I will tell you, I spent a lot of time talking to fellow mayors across the country, across this county, across this state, and across the country. And a lot of them are dealing with similar challenges. Granted, we are a very new city, but there's a lot to be learned for people who have already walked some of that walk. So, Council, I was encouraged when I found out that I think all of us will be attending, because I think there is something for each and every one of us to learn and to take back from this. Last thing I want to mention is time that I spent, as I mentioned earlier, in Washington, D.C. earlier this week. It's already Wednesday, and it's hard to believe how much I actually packed into just a couple of days of being in Washington, D.C. I'm a part of an organization called the U.S. Global Leadership Coalition. It's a bipartisan group that's I'm fortunate enough to serve on the board for here in the state of Georgia. That's chaired by Saxby Chambliss and former Senator Sam Nunn. And it gives us an opportunity to be able to speak with members of the House of Representatives and the Senate about specific direct things that we need. It was formed as a national security organization. For a lot of y'all that know, my background's in national security and cybersecurity. So a lot of the talk is about how do we continue to support international affairs and foreign trade. And to a lot of people, that's a bit foreign. In this day and age with the current administration, obviously there's challenges going on with international trade. People say, well, how is that important? How is it important? Why is it important for a mayor? Why is it important for a city like Mableton or a county like Cobb? In Cobb County alone, there's almost 500 companies that deal in import-export. And some of those are right here in Mableton, large manufacturing companies who are threatened when the opportunities where they cannot subsist in their trade. There's a lot of companies that are able to subsist their business off of international trade. And so I was honored to take part in that on Capitol Hill yesterday, leading 12 different people, business owners, university professors, farmers, talking about why it's important that locally we have a voice and talk to our senators and our congressmen about why this is important. There was an effort somewhere along the way that I took after that meeting to go back and specifically talk to members of Congress about the city of Mableton and about the progress we're making. I was able to talk to Congresswoman Bath's office and both of our senators, even Congressman Barry Loudermilk. I had an opportunity to talk with him for a little while and talk about the progress we make, and you guys have heard me say it before, they are paying attention. They know what's going on, but I'm continuing to beat the drum that we do need more support. We do need more funding. We need more funding for economic development. We need more funding for affordable housing. We need more funding for revitalization for a city, quite frankly, that was overlooked for decades. And they know it. They know it. And hopefully it's going to pay off, and there will be funding. Amidst the chaos of everything that's going on in Washington, D.C. right now, I'm not going to stop advocating for federal funds to come back to this city because you all deserve it. So with that, I think there was two other things I got an opportunity to do. I got to talk to two specific members of Congress who aren't in Georgia, but that's Chairman Flood and Ranking Member Cleaver. Those are members of the U.S. House and Insurance Subcommittee. These are leaders that directly determine how much money goes to affordable housing projects. And so I was able to talk to them specifically and lead a group of 45 mayors while I was up there in conversation. And I want to read you in part in what I said. I'm Michael Owens, mayor of the city of Mableton, Georgia. We are one of the youngest cities in the country, but one with a deep commitment to equitable housing and community development. In a city like Mableton, where we're working to close historic gaps in opportunity, HOME, which is a program that the federal government has specifically for affordable housing, has been essential. We look forward to using it more and receiving federal funds so we can close this gap and we can use it to build programs for first-generational home ownership to build this pipeline in partnership with local trusted nonprofits. We want to make sure that you, as Congress, increase the eligibility gaps for income, and I'll be specific of why I said that. Many of you may be familiar with AMI, which is the Area Median Income, which most of the federal government uses to have cutoffs for subsidies or grants when it comes to affordable housing. Right now, that's at 80%. And what I was advocating for, was asking for, is for that limit to go up to 100%, even up to 120%, because I realize that a lot of working families like teachers, transit workers, police officers, teachers, will still struggle to buy a home even with 80% AMI. 80% AMI on a 4-bedroom home is $428,000. Doesn't sound like a starter home to me. Doesn't sound like an affordable home to me. So I was there at our nation's capital asking them, would they please raise that limit to allow more people that have real working jobs to be able to have a home. And lastly, I asked that we expand permanent affordable housing models like community land trusts, like I've talked about doing here, as well as shared equity programs. These approaches allow us to lock in affordability, reduce displacement, and give families a path to build wealth, not only for themselves, but for future generations. Council, staff, ladies and gentlemen, this is the work that I'm doing. When I leave this city to go advocate for us, I will continue to do so, and again, hopefully it will pay dividends. We all understand how important affordable housing is, but if we're not in their face asking, giving concrete examples, I fear we may not get there. I feel better about the work that I do. I feel better about the work that we do. You may not see it in fruition right now, but I promise you, if we continue to work, we will see the fruits of our labor. We will work to fight this affordable housing crisis, and we'll work to put people out of apartments and into homes that want to be there. With that said, I would conclude my comments, and I will open the floor for any motions that we may have.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to make a motion to go into executive session for personnel and real estate.
I second.
Thank you. Motion's been made, go into executive session for personnel and real estate. I'll go ahead and call the question. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it. We will go into executive session. Ladies and gentlemen who will not be here when we return, thank you for coming out. Thank you for being part of democracy and being part of the city of Mableton. We do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for those that stayed with us while we're in executive session. Council, I do not believe we have any additional business coming out of executive session. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Second.
Motion's been made and duly seconded. All those in favor of exiting executive session, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. In opposition, the ayes have it. Thank you. Again, I do not believe there's any further business in front of us. No motions to be had. With that being said, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made and duly seconded by Councilman Ferguson. All those in favor of adjourn, please say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Ayes have it. We are stand adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.